Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, again, welcome. I'm Sarah and I like to talk about books. So in today's video, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a recap of how I did with my February TBR and then figure out my March TBR with you a little bit more, solidify that, and give you a little bit of a recap of how my February went. We were pretty busy. I am in my sunroom today as well. It is the last day of February and it is a very warm day. This is not normal. I'm a little worried for the summer and I hope we're not gonna get any fire scares this summer, but still wanted to take advantage of it. So welcome to my sunroom as well. It isn't insulated, so you can only really sit out here when the weather is nice. And it is today, and my pup's just outside enjoying the sun as well. Alrighty, getting into my February TBR. I chose 4 books for February on my TBR, even though I did read, I think, 16 books, something like that. But I always want to give myself something to look forward to and something to try to stick to as well. And moving forward with these TBRs, I like that they also push me out of my comfort zone a little bit or force me to try a new genre or just something different. So I'm looking forward to continuing with that as I move forward. My February TBR, the 4 I chose and the themes I chose with those 4 were a winter theme, a Valentine's Day theme, an Olympic theme since we were in the Olympic season. Winter Olympics were this past February, and then my book club, of course. So for my winter theme, I went with Beartown by Frederick Bachman. And I did read this. I did enjoy this. This was 4 stars for me. I try to stick to a TBR that I also can maybe live vicariously through. And we didn't get any big snow, but well, I take that back. We did. I just wasn't here. I was traveling. But when I got back, my husband and I did go for a nice big hike. We've been trying to make sure we get a good hike in on the weekend, and we did have to whip out our chains on our boots. So we did get a little bit of our winter theme here in Colorado as well, and we stuck to that. And then getting into Valentine's Day, I chose Can't Fix Cupid by Raven Kennedy. And again, I had a really fun time with this one. I think I rated this one 4 stars as well. And while my husband and I don't necessarily celebrate Valentine's Day, we did our first year, but we've been together so long now, yeah, we don't really celebrate it anymore. But I did celebrate Galentine's Day with my girlfriends, and actually these are new friends. So this was a coworker of mine that I finally got to meet in person. I do work remotely, or I did, and now I'm traveling, but I actually got to meet her in person after having worked with her for 2 years, and I got to meet a bunch of her friends as well. So we had a great time, made our own pizza. She had a pizza fire, what do you call it? Like a kiln thing outside that we actually were able to make our own pizza with as well. So we had a good time. And then for the Olympic theme for my February TBR, I did From Luke Off with Love by Mariana Zapata. And I did read this one as well. 3 for 4 so far, and I loved this one. I really love tension, and when I am not in my smutty mood, and I guess I'm not ovulating, but I still need that tension from a relationship, Mariana Zapata is a great author to fall back on for this. And she's one that you can read an entire, how long are her books? They can be thick, they can be chunky. I don't know how many pages, because I have a Kobo, and so when I zoom in or zoom out, the pages change, so it doesn't tell me what page I'm on in terms of the actual book itself. But From Luke Off with Love, I really enjoyed this one. I think I rated this one 4 stars as well. I can't remember. And like I said, tension, and then they don't even kiss until like the last 15% of the book. So if you like that, highly recommend. I've only read 2 of hers so far, but I do know that this is a theme with Mariana Zapata, and I do plan on continuing reading her books as well. So in terms of my personal sticking with this theme as well, my husband and I, on the first day of the Olympics, we went to the Olympic Museum here in Colorado Springs, and we got in free, which was really cool as well. It was something that the museum was just hosting. We have been to this museum before, but it was all decked out in terms of, there was like a VIP section that you could pay for if you did want to go, and then they have vendors on the street, and they closed down part of the street. So it was a lot of fun. They had live music, and I love going to this museum. One of my favorite things at the museum is they have this huge row of all the medals that have ever been given since they started giving out medals, from I think back in the 1800s to now, both Summer and Winter Olympics. And this is the only place in the world that has every single medal that's, since they've been made, that has been given. And there is another place in Switzerland that does have almost all of the medals, but from what I was told by the volunteer, they said that this was the only place in the world that actually has all of them. So I thought that was really neat. And then my last book of February on my TBR was my book club book, which I did get to, and that was Careless People. I did rate this one 4 stars as well. This is heavy if you're following politics or you are just getting another perspective. And so my book club, actually, we had to reschedule to next week. So we haven't talked this one through yet, but I did finish this one, and I'm looking forward to discussing this one more in my book club. All right, getting into my March TBR, I thought I would try for 6 books. I essentially just went through a TBR list, and I just kind of randomly picked. So I did like close my eyes and scroll and just kind of pick. And so I think I got a good selection here. I did pull out a jar, but I was like, I just was lazy today. So we'll see how I do this moving forward. But I did pick 6 themes for the month of March. My first is going to always be my first, and that is whatever my book club chooses to read. And for the month of March, we have chosen Northern Spy by Flynn Barry. I hadn't heard of this one. This one was suggested by someone in my book club. We do like a suggestion, and then we all vote and take a poll. And so this is the book that won for March. And I know the big thing with this was we wanted to stick to kind of the Irish St. Patrick's Day kind of theme. So the synopsis for this one is: a producer at the Belfast Bureau of the BBC, Tessa, is at work one day when the news of another raid comes on the air. The IRA may have gone underground after the Good Friday Agreement, but they never really went away. And lately, bomb threats, arms drops, and helicopters floating ominously over the city have become features of everyday life. As the anchor requests the public's help in locating those responsible for the latest raid, a robbery at a gas station, Tessa's sister appears on the screen. Tessa watches in shock as Marion pulls a black mask over her face. The police believe Marion has joined the IRA, but Tessa knows that is impossible. They were raised to oppose republicanism and the violence enacted in its name. They've attended peace vigils together, and besides, Marion has vacationed by the sea. Tessa just spoke to her yesterday. When the truth of what has happened to Marion reveals itself, Tessa will be forced to choose between her ideals and her family, between bystanderism and action. Walking an increasingly perilous road, she fears nothing more than endangering the one person she loves more fiercely than her sister, her infant son. A riveting and exquisite novel about family, terror, motherhood, betrayal, and the staggering human cost of intractable conflict. Northern Spy cements Flynn Barry's status as one of the most sophisticated and accomplished authors of crime and suspense novels working today. So, a little bit of a mystery thriller. historical fiction kind of book. So looking forward to that one. And then the next on my TBR that I randomly clicked on was a book that fits the current season. So again, I was thinking St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is one of my favorite holidays. I used to live in Dallas, Texas, right where the big St. Patrick's Day parade used to come down, and I used to be the one to host all my friends, and we had a great time. So I just learned to love St. Patrick's Day, and I love the Irish. So I thought I'd stick with a kind of Irish, and I'm into my mafia. I'm back into my mafia phase. So I thought mafia Irish mafia, and started looking around and found Dublin Rogue. Hadn't heard of it before, but the synopsis says, he's the most powerful man in Dublin and he'll do anything to keep what's his. Madeline Moneta is a survivor. She fought her way up from the streets of Chicago to claim a spot at one of the top-tier criminal defense practices in the city. When the looming shadow of the local mob threats to engulf the firm, Madeline makes a life-altering decision. Carrying her mother's ashes, she escapes to Ireland, intent on starting anew in her mother's homeland. Dublin seems the perfect place to reinvent herself until Tag Quinn, a dark and dangerous charmer at the local pub, sets his sight on her. Tag Quinn is trouble. As leader of the Quinn family, he is the Irish Mafia. He is a man who takes what he wants, and what he wants is her, torn between her desire of freedom and the seductive pull of a man who claims her soul. Madeline is thrust once again into the throes of the criminal underground she thought she'd left behind. So I think that checks my boxes off for Mafia and Irish. So I was happy with that one when I came across that. And then my next one that I saw and chose and pointed at was sports romance. Have not read a sports romance. Oh, no, I take that back. I did read I think it's grumpy hockey romance last month. But I haven't gotten into a sports romance series in a while. So I'm between starting the DC Stars series, which I will start eventually. I've heard really good things about that. I heard that is the next best thing to the Windy City series, which is one of my all-time favorites. So I was between getting started with that, and then speaking of Windy City series, In Her Own League is releasing in March, so I'm gonna choose in Her Own League. I have to. I love the Windy City series. I loved reading about Reese and her being a badass female boss, and you gotta love Emmett as well. This one is essentially a continuation of the Windy City series, where we got a little bit of our found family and their love story, and this one is the coach from the Chicago baseball team. We did get a little bit of, not his point of view, but a little bit of his introduction in Play Along and Caught Up. And so that is Miller, who is in Caught Up. This is her dad. It's the baseball coach and the owner of the team, and now it is their story. So yeah, I have to. Liz Tomforty has done a fantastic job. I love her. I loved all those books, and that's gonna be my sports romance pick for the month of March. All right, the next one, the topic was a book with a girl, lady, or woman, or woman in the title. So I have heard really good things about the book Women Who Run with the Wolves. And it's been on my TBR for a while, but I've just kind of been in my want to escape reality. So I haven't picked this one up, and I thought this would be a good time to actually do it. So I am choosing this one for picking a title with the word woman, girl, lady in it. And new scenery. I apologize. I had everything recorded. I only have 2 more books to do, but my camera overheated, so had to move inside. It is that warm outside today. Where were we? So I picked my number 4 of Women Who Run with Wolves. And so for my number 5 pick, my TBR chose a book written by a male author. And I do have quite a few male authors that I would like to read this year, but the first one that came to mind for me was, I think I am ready to get back into the Beartown series by Frederick Bachman and read book 2, Us Against You. I really, really liked the Beartown book. I think I rated that 4 stars, but it was a bit heavy for me personally, and I just had to take a step back. Normally, if it's a series, I go right through, and I like to just stick with it. I don't like to take breaks in between series, but I think I'm ready to get back into it. I really do enjoy his writing, and the way I was able to get an entire town's perspective. I just thought that was amazing. So I think I'm ready to get back into this, and I'm really curious where it's gonna pick up, because we did have an epilogue in Beartown, and it took place I think 10 years into the future. So are we back to the 10 years prior? Are we picking up in the future? So I'm curious where we're gonna pick up from there. And then my last book, book 6, the TBR chose when I randomly scrolled in and stopped, a book that scares you. And this is a series that has been on my TBR for a while, and I think I am also mentally ready to dive into this, and that is Binding 13. This also takes place in Ireland as well, so there we go, perfect time to pick it up. But I have heard nothing but amazingly horrid things about this book and this series. I do hear that we absolutely fall in love with these characters, and I love a good character-driven story, so I am excited about getting started with this series overall. So that's it. These are my 6 TBR choices for the month of March. Have you read any of these? Do I need to be scared? Let me know what you thought of these books, and I hope that you enjoy anything on your TBR that you may have chosen, and I will see you soon.